Meteorologist Matthew East here, the Weather on the Ones Forecast Center. This is the Monday, November 9th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Of course, the big weather story is Ida, and that's what we're going to focus on here for this edition of the video. This is the 3 a.m. Central Time, 4 a.m. Eastern Time, National Hurricane Center track for Ida. And they bring Ida to the coast very late tonight or early tomorrow morning, somewhere there likely in the Alabama or the western Florida Gulf Coast. This is a look at the wide satellite imagery this morning, and that is Ida sitting over the northern Gulf of Mexico. It looks like it's beginning, at the time I'm cutting this video, to make that transition to a non-tropical, or at least a sort of a hybrid tropical system, what we call an extratropical system, as certainly it's not nearly as classic a tropical looking system as it was 12 to 24 hours ago. Still a hurricane at the time I'm cutting this video. And again, it will move inland as probably as a weak hurricane or a strong tropical storm on the Alabama or the Florida Gulf Coast late tonight or tomorrow morning. Not a huge impact down that way, but certainly lots of rain, could be some spin-up tornadoes. I don't think there's a huge problem with storm surge due to the weakness of the system, but certainly some increased surf and some beach erosion quite possible. And some winds, 50, 60, 70 miles an hour along the Alabama, Mississippi, and maybe even parts of the Louisiana and western Florida Gulf Coast. Now let's talk about our area. There is tremendous model disagreement in terms of how much rain we actually wind up seeing. Let me take you through a couple of the models here. This is the GFS, the 6C GFS today, and this is valid at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And at that point in time, you see the rain spreading into the region, and it really settles in as we go throughout the course of the day tomorrow, and then the GFS indicates heavy rain all night tomorrow night before it ends by very early in the day on Wednesday. Now that's the GFS, and in terms of the total precipitation, at least through 2 p.m. Wednesday on the GFS, you see that strip of 2.5 to 3 inches of rain covering much of the Carolinas, some bullseyes up to 4 inches there toward the mountains. And so that's the GFS, certainly a heavy rain scenario. The NAM, totally different. This is 8 o'clock tomorrow, a Tuesday on the NAM. This is 8 p.m., still dry. And as we go out to 8 a.m. Wednesday, still dry, and that high pressure shunting everything off to the south. So that is the precipitation through 2 o'clock Wednesday afternoon on the NAM. Nada across much of North Carolina outside of the Outer Banks. And then you get into South Carolina, a little rain down there, but nothing terribly impressive. So wow, that is totally different, those two models. Now, let me show you the Canadian model, and see if I can get this out of the way for you. Got our little toolbar kind of in the way. All right, there we go. All right, the Canadian. Here we are. This is valid 8 a.m. Tuesday. All right, here is 8 p.m. Tuesday. The rain spreading on in. 8 a.m. Wednesday. And finally 8 p.m. Wednesday. So it's sort of a nice compromise. Certainly brings a good bit of rain through the region. So which solution is correct? Still too soon to tell. I put very little stock though in how the NAM is handling things. It loses the definition of Ida, I think, far too quickly. It doesn't handle things exactly in the manner I think it should. So I'm sort of leaning away from that NAM solution. So I'm leaning toward a good soaking rain event around the region. And here's the HPC, the Hydrometeorological Prediction Center's forecast. This is for the next 5 days, but of course we're just really looking at this event. That's where all this rain comes from, and they have anywhere from 2 to 5 inches across the Carolinas, and I think that's probably the way to go. So what I think we'll see happen is rain begins to spread in maybe as early as very late tonight around Charlotte. Certainly tomorrow the rain settles in around the region. It could be quite heavy by late tomorrow into tomorrow night, tapering off Wednesday. Flash flooding, or at least flooding, could be a problem in some spots if we get those 3, 4, 5 inch rain totals. Now winds will also pick up, especially tomorrow night and on into Wednesday morning. If we get the ground saturated and the winds pick up enough, then maybe some tree issues to be concerned with. But I'm not terribly concerned about that right now, but that's something we'll keep monitoring for. As far as severe weather, I don't think we have anything to worry about in the Piedmont, maybe along the immediate coast. You get some of those weak spin-up tornadoes like you see with tropical systems sometime, but I don't think that's a problem for the Piedmont. So, interesting system. I think we wind up with a soaking rain event out of this, but how much, still a question mark. We'll see how all that plays out. All right, thanks for watching. Everyone have a wonderful Monday, and God bless.